guess what would you say the first three steps you'd give them?
Bringing a product to market. First three steps is, I would say, be really clear on what it costs you to make that product, and then go out to the market and make sure that what you think you can sell it for will work. So I do that all the time where brands ask me to advise them, and I say, sure, give me a week. And I go to all the stores and I say, okay, fine. In a particular category, an item might be selling anywhere from $14.99 to $19.99.
Mm,
You're telling me you're going to sell for $26? I don't think so.
mm,
And where that gets to is, will you have a margin that'll work? Because if you don't have a margin that works, you're not going to solve it through more sales. Um, and you're also going to have a hard time attracting investors. So in most product categories, there are kind of rules of thumb, and they're different for different categories, what kind of margins you should have. So that if you do that work up front that says, okay, cost me this much to make it, this is the competitive landscape on price. Yeah, I can price it in this range and make an acceptable margin. That's a great starting point. And where you can get creative is if you're running into some obstacles, you can rework your packaging. Okay, I was going to sell a 1 pounder, but to hit the price point of the competition, I should maybe be at 3/4 of a pound. Maybe it's a smaller package and I can hit my margin, and that kind of work up front. I see so many examples where entrepreneurs have a great idea. They launch it without doing what we really, all parts of what we talked about. Maybe their margin's too low, and they get some initial success. And what I hope your listeners, if they're new entrepreneurs, listen to more than anything on this, which is, if you have initial success, that just means you need more capital, because it requires more capital. And at that point, if your margins aren't acceptable, nobody's going to invest. So having that foundation up front, in the world of at least consumer products, which is kind of where I live, is time well spent.